Alright guys, so welcome back to the second part of this video for Tyler, Jim, and Lindsay. So just a recap of what we talked about in the last video. We talked about, we went ahead and we already had the controller set up, and then I went ahead and created this job search FXML. I linked it, application being the name of the package, and job search controller name of the controller. So remember, controller does the stuff for us. We have our main set up, and our main is just simple like this. So one of the things I recommend is create a new project, JavaFX, and slowly move your stuff in there to make it work. So I have this in here. I don't have to put anything else in here. I know the examples that I provided other students did, which is fine and it works, but this is a cleaner way of doing it, I promise. So this is the main page as we have home here. So when it starts up, it goes there. So what we need to do is we want that when the user, pull this over here, where's that last one at? Junk me, job search, where you at, buddy? So what we want to do is a couple things here real quick. So, sorry. All right, so we have this, welcome to my jobs, and then we have this guy right here, submit. So what we want to happen is submit hits, and it goes in my jobs and it pulls up that page. So that's what we want to accomplish. Okay. All right. So how do we do that? We created a method in the controller. So let's see. Let's do this. Let's go over to the controller, which is job search controller, and actually not here. We want it to happen in the home controller because home is where the button's at. Yeah, Tyler, you just emailed me and I just sent you an email back, so I'm actually finishing this as we speak. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hashtag this out of here. Well, I'm gonna comment it out because I'm not gonna use this, and I'll show you why. All right, so I just commented that out. So I'm gonna create a method here. Let's put it here, method to change scenes. We could say scenes or pages, etc. You get the point. So we're gonna call it public void. I'm gonna make it change pages. Reason I'm making that because if I have so many of these guys open up over here. All right, so the submit button right here I have is button home, but if I go to properties, where do I have it at? Code. Thought I had an on action there. Let me make sure I got the right one. Hold on. Because I have so many of these guys open. Let's do this. Let's minimize this. Because I know that I have 8 million of these opened up. Yeah, so I have so many of them open up. So you see here I have home button. And it says, sorry, I sneezed. It says change pages. So what happens is when they click that button, we want that controller to happen. So let me close all these guys out. Yeah. No. Ah, son of a gun. Cancel. I'm closing Eclipse out. Let me quit that. Cancel. Let's just minimize this. I don't screw anything up. All right. So we want it when they click that, we want change pages to happen. So let's do change pages. Let's do action event, and we'll call it an event. All right, so event. All right, so then we need throw. Well, we're gonna put throws exception in there only because if we don't put that in there, we're gonna get some type of weird error message. So let's do that. All right, so now we're gonna have parent. We'll call it what's the name of this page? I'll call it job view, job search view. You guys could call it something else. FXML loader dot load, and then we want to get the class, and we want to get the resource. Just hit enter there, and then that's where we put our FXML in. So I'm going to put in my example. I'm going to do job search dot FXML. All right. That now, what is that noise? You'll want to make sure if yours doesn't work, when you're putting it in there, don't worry, because I had already preloaded some of these libraries here. So like action event will be needed, node will be needed, parent will be needed. Let's see, some of these other ones, scene and stage. So don't worry about it. You'll want to make sure you have that. Action event, parent. All right. So let's do scene. We will call it. You know what? Let's change this right here. Let's make this parent, because I'm calling it parent. And if I do view it, just doesn't make any sense. So I'll say scene, and I'll say job search view scene. Pretty long name. Equals new scene, and we're gonna point it to the parent. That's our parent that we want to grab. All right. So this line here, I know this line gets the stage information. I have to uppercase that. All right, cool. All right, so here we go. So now, if we do stage, I'll call it window equals, we're going to create a stage, and then we're going to create a node. So 1, 2, 3, because we have to cast this guy. I have to cast a node, and then we're going to do an event dot get the source. So now you want to get the source, so we have to do that, and then another one to close the node off, and then we'll do get scene, and then we'll get window. So it gets the window, which is a staging environment where we're at, and it looks like we just need this here. All right, perfect. Then we need to set the scene, so we'll do set scene, and we'll do the scene. So I called it job search view scene, so I'll copy that. Let's set up, do what I was going to do, and I will paste it. Perfect. Awesome. And then we'll do window.show. Oops. Oh my. All right. And why is my action event not liking it? All right. What am I missing? All right. No. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Oh my God. ACION. Nice. I can't spell. All right. Cool. So I'm going to save that. And let's see if it works. So go WizKids number 4. All right, run as application. All right, so we have this button over here. I hit submit. Look at that. Welcome to my jobs. That worked perfect. That is how you do. That's how you are able to go from scene to scene. In your page where you're doing a search and trying to find out stuff, there's a way to send values over, but you know, for what you're doing is fine. But you might want to create a back button here to go back to the previous scene. So if you would do, let's say that you wanted to create a back button, for example. So what would you do? You would do this, say back button method. So what you would do is you'd create the same method here. You could probably do this. You could come down here, make life easy, just copy and paste and just change some stuff around. So maybe you would call it go back, maybe action event, and then you would go back to the main page, which would be home.fxml, and then and you would change this around a little bit. Maybe you call it something else. You want to call it, say, go back search parent, and then it's going to get really long. Go back view scene, and then we need to copy this guy here down here, and then our view scene will be a different name. It would be here, and what would happen is you would need to, let me think about this. You might not do it here. Now I think about it, because you don't want to create the method here. So let's cut this out because you want it on the other page. So cut this out. Let's make sure it's a save. So then we want to go over to the page that you're on. So you're going to be on a job search controller page. So we would want to actually put that here. We'd want to have that over here, which makes sense. Because now all you would have to do is come over to job search. I'm going to open it up and say you want it to add a button. Let's move this over here. Let's say we come here and add button, and we dragged it down. All right, say that we wanted to call this button go back. You would do that, and then we would go into properties. Where are we at? Oh, not properties, sorry. Code. I would just call it button go back, and then we want an action here. So what we do is we come over to this controller, and what did we call it? We called it go back. So then we come, where you at, buddy? Where you at? I'll come back over here. Wrong one. Too many windows open here. All right. I would call it go back. Make sure I spelled it right. Go back, yeah. So I'd do go back. Right. I would hit save on this. Then I would come over here and I would go into that job search FXML, open it up here. And what we want to do is make sure the two guys are linked together. So we have go back there, so that's good. And then we want to make sure that this is linked up fine, and that looks good. I think it should work. I mean, hypothetically, it looks fine. So it has that in there, it calls it. Let's see if it works. Sounds good. I don't think I missed anything, so let's run it. Alright, so button, go back, look at that, submit, go back, submit, forget about that guy there. But you see you're able to go back, so that looks good. See if you can apply this to your project. And like I said, what I would do if I were you, personally, you have this right here, WizKids. I would start from scratch. Now, I don't mean get rid of everything like your FXML, because those scenes are good. Like for example, your job scenes look really nice. I wouldn't get rid of them at all. I'd keep it the same. But you know, like if I pull this up right here, you're going to want to make sure that you have a controller for job search. So you want to create a controller, and then when you have a controller, you'll want to describe what's on annotations, what's on that screen. I'll see if I have time to get something started for you guys, but for now I want you to try to do it on your own and see what you can do. I showed you how to go from scene to scene, but when you create a new controller, so for example, you know, if you look at my controller here, and I will provide you my code that I did, I'll put it in my Git repository. I'll make a shared Git repository for you to have this code so you can see how it works. But like, look at how I did my where am I at? Home controller. So I describe what's on my screen. So you'll want to do that for like this page here. So you want to have a controller, and so these guys right here are text boxes, right? So these are text boxes. That's a label, and then you have buttons. Okay. So what you would do is, in that case, you would describe it down here. So let's say that this is my page. I'd say FXML, and then I'd say private. I'd say button, and then I'd call it whatever it is. So for example, this is search button. Okay, so you want to make sure you use the same value. I thought it was going to let me copy that. I have to do Control C on the keyboard. All right. So then what I would do here is I do Control V, boom, and then I do another one for the other one. I do button, and then I think it's a clear button. You see where I'm going here? I'm looking what the value that you gave it. You want to make sure it's that value. So it's button clear, perfect. Same thing for text boxes. So you do FXML, you do private. I think it's text. We'll find out what it is in a minute here. Text field, I think it is. But if not, we'll get it right. So let's say text field is this guy right here. So you do Control V, and here what we need to do is find out what this text. Okay, this text field. All right, so you would do this for all of them, all text fields, and then you have labels there too. So you'd have to do the same thing for a label. So you'd have to do private label. Let's see what you call it, the label. Label job number. All right, so I didn't like it, so I would go ahead and import this control here. And there you go. You got all this working. So this is what you want to do. So remember, each page you have your own controller. And then have an action event down here to change scenes. Or if you want something to happen, you use a method to do what you need to happen. So try this out, see if it works. I'll save this code and send it out to you guys. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow and Sunday. I'm going to a wine festival, wine country, and I am probably not going to reply back. So I will help you on Monday if you have any problems, but best of luck. This should help you guys out good.